Are you a small creator struggling to make good thumbnails by yourself and don't have the money to purchase Photoshop subscriptions? Well, today in this video, I'll be breaking down what makes a good thumbnail and I'll teach you guys how to make free high quality thumbnails in Adobe Express. Let's get into this. Okay, so before we actually make our thumbnails, let's dive in and explore what makes a good thumbnail. If we analyze these thumbnails Mr. Beast has created for his latest video, which is about 2,000 people competing for $5 million, we can see there's barely any text and he keeps it very simple. He also uses the design principle of hierarchy, where he puts himself, because he is the brand, as the main focus, and your eyes just get drawn to his face first, and then to the money, and then to the people. And this is where our first problem arises. What is your brand? On YouTube, you should normally put yourself, but a lot of people don't like revealing their faces, and that's completely fine. So that's the first thing you need to do. Get something that can represent you in a unique and consistent way that you can apply across all your thumbnails. And yes, this will help your audience recognize you and your videos. Trying to mimic Mr. Beast's type of thumbnail where you keep it clean might be a challenge in Adobe Express. You have much less tools than in Photoshop, but it will help you learn Photoshop because they're all in the Adobe suite. So let's get making. So I just then asked ChatGPT for a random video topic that we could make a thumbnail for, and yeah, this is what it gave me, and the title would be How I Lived Like a Caveman for 24 Hours, No Tech Challenge. So immediately we can see some keywords that we can definitely use inside our thumbnail, like no tech. I think that would be a really good starter point where we can add just a little bit of text. So we could just say no tech and exclamation mark. So you want your text to be bold, easily readable. So you want to scale it up, definitely. Make it big and definitely change the font. You can change your fonts in the text panel on the navbar here, and yeah, I suggest something like really fat, something like Archivo Black if you can get it off Adobe fonts. If not, I'm pretty sure there are many free fonts. If you don't have Archivo Black, you could probably substitute it for Lato over here. If you just click the arrow beside it, you can get different variations. And you can go for black or even just black italic. And I think black italics looks pretty good. And another little tip is to make it all caps, which is definitely like a no-brainer. That's basically it for the text for now. We'll change it later once we get our images up. So back to the prompt, it says caveman. So I'm thinking of primitive fire, like a really worn down shelter, something like that, in like a really old landscape, I guess. So yeah, we can go to the images section and just search primitive here, and yeah, we can just get a bunch of cool images. And yeah, once we find something that looks good, we can just grab it.
One eternity later.
Okay, so I got my two photos here, and I just see something in this photo that pops out more than the other photo, and that's the sky. It looks really grey, and it can evoke some senses of
Oh my god, bro.
What is bro yapping about?
It'd be cool if we could merge the two photos together in a way. That's where remove object comes in. If we just choose remove object, we can remove the houses like this, so we just get the ground and the sky. So yeah, if we just paint over all of this, and press remove down here, the houses will be gone. And there we go. We can see that it's all cleared out, but there's still a tiny spot. We're gonna keep the first one because obviously it looks nice, and yeah, we're just gonna remove that again because there's just a little straggler. Get rid of that. Okay, so now we've successfully removed the houses, and this has become a nice image. Alright, so what we want to do is make this the background. To make this a background, we can come down here and press set as page background, and it'll automatically scale it up for us to match the background. And our next image will be placed in front. Now, for this image, we only want this fire and this like tent type of thing, but I don't think we're gonna be able to remove it. Alright, so I found this photo that's similar but slightly better. So what we can do is we could press remove background and see if that works. The remove background will automatically find the subjects, and yeah, that actually looks pretty good. So we're going to keep that. So we're also going to scale this up by a little bit, place it to the side, and we can see that it doesn't look that good compared to the background. It doesn't really fit together. So we can go to adjustments and play around with the contrast, brightness, highlights, and shadows. So I'll be back once I match these up. Alright, so I think I've done a pretty good job of matching the colors up, and yeah, it's looking pretty good, and we're just missing a few little bits. So yeah, let's fix some things up. First of all, we got the fire, but it doesn't really look anything like a proper fire. So we're gonna go to the elements tab down here in the nav bar, and we're gonna search just smoke, and you'll definitely find smoke. And you can choose which one your favorite is. You could literally even just pick this. And what I like to do sometimes is to get just multiple and to like just play around with which one's the best. I honestly think this is the best. So what we can do is we can just rotate this around and use the eraser tool to just erase parts of it. So we can also just change the eraser tool to circle brush. That means we can just erase parts of it. And yeah, we can change the hardness to 1 and it'll just be really soft. And like this, we can just carve out like a really nice shape for the smoke. Whether that be like a singular like small line like this, or whatever shape you want. And then once you're done, just click done, and then just drag it over here, and you can duplicate it a few times or whatever. But I'm going to change the opacity, turn the opacity down a little bit, and then we're also just going to search fire to make it look a bit nicer. So yeah, here's a tiny fire. Obviously it doesn't look that good, so we're going to scale it down first like this. We're going to place the smoke on top of it, and we're gonna just adjust the fire until it looks similar with the background and everything else. Alright, that's looking pretty good, honestly. And now we can fix the text. Obviously it looks really weird with the gray background, so we're gonna give it a little contrast. And if we look at some examples of like effective thumbnails on YouTube that does have text, you can see that like people actually like put the text like super high contrast, like in this video. Some things I do see a lot of YouTubers do is to put like shapes behind their text to make them stand out, and that could honestly just be your unique branding. Most YouTubers will do like a simple rectangle like this. And yeah, honestly, this is still really effective. You can just change the shape fill to something like yellow, and that just like contrasts so much. And yeah, that actually looks really good. So you're like, what's next? Well, you still got one crucial part, where is your person, because I feel like that is like a big part. I forgot to mention that if you're like a gaming YouTuber, you're definitely free to use like in-game skins or like your Minecraft skin to represent yourself, and I think that's really effective. Obviously, I don't have anything like that, so we're gonna go for some generative AI. I know a lot of people hate this, but for educational purposes, I'll just do this one time. When it comes to your thumbnails, try to avoid using AI as much as possible, like to generate images, but it's fine if you need AI to help fix images up, like what I did with removing the houses from that image. Alright, so I've gotten this photo after a few tries, and it's not the best. Obviously, for your own videos, you guys will be taking photos of yourself if you do want to put them into the thumbnail. So yeah, this is just like an example, obviously, so we can just click remove background and also just remove the background for us. And that's just really nice. And yeah, that just works really nicely. And yeah, you can just place this guy up here, just like overlaying this text a tiny bit to make it look nice. And yeah, obviously the color is a bit weird, obviously, so you can go to adjustments, turn down the saturation, and yeah, turn up the warmth a tiny bit, and yeah, we can just like adjust this to our needs. And after a bit more fine tuning and adjusting the colors, this is the final result. I know it's not as good as any Photoshop type of thumbnail, but it's a great place to start if you're on a budget and need a free thumbnail making software. If you guys enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like and subscribe, and comment your thoughts on Adobe Express in the comment section down below. My name is jhxu, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye bye!